So today, starting off from a campsite in the Yukon off the Alaska Highway. There's not a lot to really say about this area. This area is just absolutely gorgeous. Tons of nature, tons of wildlife, and it's kind of very sporadic. The one thing I would talk about this area is it's different than most other areas. This is communities interspersed in a natural environment. If you're in the regular continental in most places, it's more like, nature interspersed among civilization. Here, you know for a fact, if you just look at the grand landscapes and whatnot, that it's the towns which are the aberration. It's not the nature. Too often than not, as you're driving along, you'll say, "Hey," but you never know. You're not too far. Here, some of the gaps between places can be well over like 50 to 100 miles. So, obviously, if you're on a motorcycle, you stop practically every time you see gas because you're not really sure when the next time is. But it's not too much of a concern because as long as your bike has a pretty good range, you can make it, and it can be tons of fun. Well, here you go. They've got little things about the native tribe who lives in the area. I think I'm on a reserve, or reservation, whatever you want to call it. I am here, Haines Junction. Okay. Many stops. Just a quick stop here, just to avoid one of the stops that gives you kind of information of nature and kind of indigenous people who lived in the area. One cool thing about Canada, if you really want to know, Canada is pretty much just like the United States. There's not really a much difference. I mean, other than money, like just the money difference and the exchange rate, there's not a whole lot of difference. I mean, there really isn't. I mean, there's small cultural things, the maple leaf versus the stars and stripes. But for the most part, the people are pretty much the same. Maybe they've got a little bit of an accent. But for the most part, they're really kind of just America, part two. Just when you're up north, it's just these small towns. But luckily, Oh, okay. Clune. This is the Clune area. So what it is this is the Clune River viewpoint. Okay? It's a very rich river. The kind of cool thing about it is, if you look out here, is as you look out there, it's obviously a gorgeous view, but come September, the river will get a lot larger, be fed a whole lot more, and the salmon run will occur. And it's actually on that salmon run, you can see all the grizzly bears will come down, and it'll just be a smorgasbord of hawks and grizzly bears fishing the salmon run that comes right up this river. Okay? And there's moose and caribou about. Hey, for all I know, there's a whole bunch of them out there right now that they're so small I can't see. But this is just a stop along the Alaskan Highway. So great. One of the cool things is obviously sitting here looking out over the riverbeds. This is plenty of areas where the salmon run happens, where you can see rivers that will eventually swell and salmon will swim upstream, and you'll see apparently you'll see tons of bears and eagles and not hawks will actually come down and just eat and gorge themselves, and will actually come into far greater proximity than they normally would when they're in the wild. But when there's a smorgasbord of food available, yeah, they come in and they gorge themselves, and they don't really mind the fact that if they were normally that close to each other, they'd be fighting to the death. You know, if it wasn't for this like trash stop, they have trash stops instead of rest stops. So this trash stop, you have this gorgeous view of this like whole field. I think it'd be like really, really cool, but instead they don't trim it down. I can understand. I mean, to trim down all this whole way. I mean, it's been, you know, this is a couple 100 miles of just trash, and then occasional depot, an RV park, and whoo, and whoever gets paid to do the weather here, you suck. Huh. Invasive plants. Not sure what they mean. Alaska State Parks. A lot of it, this place is parks. I didn't know. I'm in Alaska. Park trail. That there's Canada. That there's Alaska. So, international boundary right here. USA, Canada. USA, Canada. Yeah, nobody cares. Surveilling the border. Who cares? I mean, park reserve. I mean, the Yukon and their security checkpoint is their custom checkpoint's like 20 miles. I'm imagining the USA one's like just over that hill. But luckily, I'll be heading into the United States. I haven't been in the United States for a while, so boom, I'm back in. And it's actually somewhat interesting is that the Canadians put the border crossing like right at the first Canadian town, but the Americans put their crossing inspection right at the border. Kind of a interesting factoid. I mean, I just found it. And then it's another like 45 minutes into the first town, which is Tok. Tok, of course, being a real small town. I mean, it's pretty much just an intersection, and with a lavish of stuff coming through, which are just basically for people coming into Alaska and then branching out from there. But this is Tok coming into, and it's good to be back in the USA, so that the cash I was holding was still good. So this is me back in the US, into the 49th state, now officially with my motorcycle. I have touched 49 out of the 50. I will never touch Hawaii with this bike unless some kind of major land bridge starts.